The road stretched on like a ribbon of darkness, lit intermittently by flickering streetlights. A sleek black sedan cruised along steadily in the right lane, its engine a quiet hum beneath the cloak of night. Inside, Agent Evelyn Reed sat upright, eyes trained on the road ahead, her thoughts replaying the classified briefing she had just exited. As the newly appointed director of the FBI, long hours and longer nights had become the norm, but nothing in her extensive career had prepared her for what was about to unfold. She wasn't speeding. The speedometer read a perfect 65 miles per hour. No sudden lane changes, no erratic driving. So when red and blue lights burst into her rearview mirror, Evelyn's brows knitted in confusion. She instinctively glanced at the dashboard again, still 65. She exhaled quietly, signaled, and guided her car to the shoulder. She'd spent her life in law enforcement. She knew the protocols, the systems. This is routine, she told herself. But as the cruiser lingered behind her, the feeling in her gut told a different story. The patrol car door opened, slow and deliberate. The officer emerged, a man she didn't recognize. Not unusual, she didn't know every cop in the state. But something about him felt off. His posture was too stiff, his hand too close to the firearm on his belt. The flashlight in his other hand swayed menacingly as he approached. Evelyn lowered the window, hands visible on the steering wheel. "Good evening, officer," she said evenly, professionally. No response. Just a flashlight beam lingering too long on her face. "License and registration," he said gruffly. "May I ask why I'm being pulled over?" she asked, keeping her voice calm. "License and registration," he repeated. She nodded slowly. "I'm reaching for my purse on the passenger seat." No response. She moved slowly, retrieved her wallet, and presented both her driver's license and FBI credentials. He barely glanced at them. "FBI, huh?" "Yes, sir." Then the bombshell. "Step out of the vehicle." "Excuse me." "Out, now." Something in her shifted. Her pulse remained steady, but her mind raced. This wasn't routine. This was targeted, controlled, dangerous. The officer reached for her door handle. Reflexively, her left hand shot out and gripped the interior handle. "Sir, step back. You're outside protocol. Step out." His voice was low but laced with aggression. Evelyn recognized it. She'd interrogated men like him, men drunk on authority. "On what grounds, officer?" He hesitated. "Suspicious behavior." "What behavior?" No answer. Just a step closer, flashlight now blinding her. "I don't have to explain myself to you." "Actually, you do," she said, her voice firm. "Lady, I don't care who you work for." He wanted control. He wanted fear. But Evelyn Reed had never let fear rule her. "Then let's call your superior and see if he feels the same." The flashlight dropped. His palm slammed hard against the car roof. "I said, get out." She glanced at his nameplate, Officer Miller. "I'll remember that." Her phone sat in the center console, but she didn't dare reach for it. Any sudden move could be used against her. "You're making a mistake," she said evenly. He laughed, cold and hollow. "The mistake was thinking you could pull rank on me." His hand hovered near his holster, then another cruiser pulled up. Relief washed over her, fleeting. Another witness, accountability. But when the second officer stepped out, broad-shouldered, no nameplate, no eye contact, she understood. This wasn't backup. This was reinforcement. "Problem here, Miller?" he asked. "Just dealing with a non-compliant driver," Miller replied. "Ma'am, step out of the vehicle," the second officer added. "Not Director Reed, just ma'am." Evelyn knew if she refused, they would escalate. If she complied, she surrendered control. Slowly, she opened the door. The cold night air bit her skin as she stepped out. Miller blocked the dashcam. The second officer flanked her rear. "Turn around," Miller ordered. "Why am I being detained?" "Suspicious behavior." Refusal to comply. It was a trap. She knew the script. Compliance would be twisted. Refusal would be punished. He grabbed her wrist, too fast, too hard. "Get your hands off me," she snapped. "I think she's resisting," Miller said, twisting her words into a weapon. "We have a non-compliant suspect," the second officer spoke into his radio. Suspect, not citizen. Not FBI director, and the gun came out, inches from her face. Time vent. "Do you feel powerful now?" he sneered. Her rage simmered, not for herself, but for every name she'd read on incident reports like this. Then, "Hey, I'm recording this." A man's voice, phone raised, light glowing. "You sure you want to do this, officer?" Miller and the second officer hesitated. The power dynamic shifted. Evelyn took a chance. "Put the weapon down." Sirens wailed in the distance, reinforcements. Miller looked desperate. He turned, gestured to silence the witness. "Touch him, and I will personally charge you with obstruction of justice," she warned. The second officer stopped. The flashing lights grew nearer. More patrol cars. Officers emerged, cautious. One recognized her. "Director Reed." The moment broke. "Detain these officers," she commanded. Miller tried to argue. "This is a misunderstanding." "Then let's clear it up at headquarters." "You've got to be kidding me," Miller muttered as cuffs snapped around his wrists. The second officer didn't protest. He looked like a man whose entire worldview had cracked. "Get them out of my sight," Evelyn said. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because this wasn't just about two rogue officers. It was about a system. And Evelyn Reed was ready to dismantle it. The video hit the news before sunrise. By noon, the DOJ had launched an official inquiry. Miller was stripped of his badge and charged with assault. His partner was suspended. The department issued a bland statement, but the world had seen. From her office, Evelyn watched the coverage, her expression unreadable. Her phone buzzed, an unknown number. She answered. "Director Reed." A pause. Then a familiar voice, the man from the roadside. "Just wanted to say thanks." Most people wouldn't have stood their ground. She exhaled slowly. "Most people don't have the power to, but I do." And this time, she intended to use it. The following weeks were a whirlwind. Evelyn pushed for transparency, demanding full cooperation from local law enforcement. She addressed the nation, vowing to root out systemic issues and restore trust. The investigation uncovered a pattern of misconduct within the Cityville Police Department, revealing a culture of impunity that had festered for years. Several officers were implicated, facing charges ranging from abuse of power to civil rights violations. Public outrage fueled demands for reform. Protests erupted in Cityville and across the country, echoing Evelyn's call for accountability. She worked tirelessly with community leaders, activists, and legislators to draft comprehensive reforms, including stricter use of force policies, mandatory de-escalation training, and civilian oversight boards. The pushback was fierce. Police unions rallied to defend their own, accusing Evelyn of overreach and political grandstanding. Some politicians seized the opportunity to stoke division, painting her as an enemy of law enforcement. But Evelyn refused to back down. She knew the stakes were too high. The soul of the nation was on the line. Slowly, painstakingly, progress began to take hold. The Cityville Police Department underwent a top-to-bottom restructuring, with new leadership committed to reform. Other cities followed suit, implementing similar changes. Federal legislation was introduced to strengthen accountability mechanisms and address racial bias in policing. Evelyn Reed's actions sent shockwaves through the system, forcing a long-overdue reckoning. The road ahead was still long and arduous, but a new path had been forged, a path toward justice, transparency, and a more equitable society. And though her methods were questioned by some, she remained resolute, a symbol of unwavering courage in the face of systemic injustice.